very pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday night huddle call. I'm Harvey Zay in Cleveland, Ohio, and we have a very exciting call set for you tonight, so you'll be glad you dialed in. If you want to get some more of your team members on really quick, do that. Be ready to take notes because the information you're going to receive will be worth keeping. We have the call recording. We'll give you the playback number at the end of this call. The first speaker is a young man who founded Team Win Big. He's one of the founding members of Surge 365. He's one of our marketing directors. He drives that Surge car, and he's been a money earner, big money time earner, and bonuses and so forth, 6 figures, 7 figures. He has done well in our company. So we'd like to present to you our marketing director, founder of Surge 365's team called Win Big. Let's bring him on. Von Nickelberry, are you on the line?
You know what? I am here, Harvey. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Well, hey, listen. I heard Rick and Brenda on the line, so you guys get queued up to close us out. We want to hear about that trip. Hey, listen, you guys. We just got back from Reno, and if you know anything about me, I've never been the person who tries to hype something up. One of the things that I tell people is when we look at what Surge is doing. Okay, I want you to think about this. What Surge is doing has never been done in travel before. And so there's no script. There's no pattern okay, what do we do now? What do we do next? All we know is this. We know what we've done. We know where we want to go. And what we have is so much better than anything that's out there. And so one of the things that I want to do is out in Reno, Arlen Thompson. Let me tell you something, Scott. I know you're on the line, but before I bring you on, one of my biggest events or one of my most memorable moments in all of networking, outside of the $50,000 bonus check that you guys gave us, right? It was literally the opening of 2008 or 2009 convention when we had the Statue of Liberty. That was one of those things that if I just pulled up the video, I get goosebumps. Out in Reno, man, this had to be, Arlen did a wonderful job. And, some of the postings that we shared on our page got 2,000 and 2,500 views. And so those things, it literally went viral, at least from our company standpoint, on the internet, and people were sharing it, and we had comments on it. And so I want to give a big shout out to Arlen. And let me tell you something, Scott. We have the foundation and the ingredients in this company to do something in travel that has never been done before. So one of the things I want you to do, or I would like for you to do, a request of you, is just kind of share with the people on this call just how important, and I don't even think we know the magnitude of what we're doing. Everybody, please help me. One of the visionaries behind Surge 365, Mr. Scott Tomer. Hey, Scott, are you on the line?
I am, Bon. I am here.
All right, I heard that pause. I was like, oh my God, don't tell me Scott's not on the line.
No, I had you muted. I had it muted so I wouldn't have any noise coming on top of you, and then my phone went, how the screen goes out. So anyway, I'm here now.
All right, well, hey, listen, why don't you just share with the people that we have on this call, just I don't want to say some of the things, but the magnitude of what we're doing. And you know what? I was telling somebody this earlier. I said, let me tell you something. I don't know if what we're going to pull off is going to work. Now, I have a feeling. But what I told him, Scott, I said, well, you know what? If it does, we'll be one of the talks of the business community in the history of business. Because we're literally doing something that hasn't been done. And he said, you think it's that big? I said, I think it's bigger than what I got my eye on. So why don't you share with people in the call where you see us going with this Surge 365 and the introduction of the Vortex?
Bon, I believe it. I believe it is so much bigger than network marketing, because what we've really done is we've taken as a matter of fact, other than maybe a long distance company, okay, or a insurance company, very few, if any outside that industry have been able to penetrate the business world, the mainstream. In other words, their product is unique to their company, and but it's something that it's not considered something that you're going to see anywhere except in that company. Okay, like life insurance. There are thousands of companies literally that you can buy life insurance from, but A.L. Williams really figured out how to take that industry and then put a spin on it, put a different way of marketing it, and became the largest seller of life insurance in America. Okay, and Excel was one. I mean, they didn't invent long distance. They just kind of came with a different way of making long distance something that the way it was marketed was different, but the product was the same. It was long distance. What we're doing with the Vortex, and I want you to get your mind around this, because the Vortex is not a network marketing product. The Vortex is a public-facing consumer booking engine that people can go to just like they would go to Expedia or Priceline, or like they would go to Kayak or Trivago, and be able to compare and buy the cheapest way that they could buy it. Okay, so it's not a new concept. This is basically something that's been around for as long as we've been doing travel, more than 15 years. The difference is we figured out how to go out and go to people and say, if you simply register, and by the fact of registering, we're going to be able to pass along discounts to you. Not on a hotel similar to the one you want to go on, not on a cruise line kind of like the one you want to go on, not something that's almost like, no, it's the very same thing that people are buying, the very same time they wanted to go. All we're doing is saying, if you could save money, would you buy through me? That's where we come in. So we come in and search, okay? When we come in and search is, then we are the ones that are going to get that out to the masses. We're not going to do this through advertising. We're not going to do it. We're going to do it through what we understand, which is the direct sales industry.
About the Vortex.
But the product of Vortex, okay, is not. It's not a different way for people to. It's a different way for them to access it, but they're accessing the same thing. So what we've done is we've gone from, and this is what was crazy, as I was sitting down with some people. They said, what you really have a chance to do is you have a chance to be so much bigger when you consider what we can do. When you consider that just two companies, Expedia and Priceline, did over 100, and I believe the number was close to $120 billion online last year. Now understand, they have no sales force, they have no person-to-person marketing, they have a website that people go to, and basically buy at the same price you could buy anywhere else. We're introducing a different way of buying. The same thing people are buying, and give them a discount, which listen, many of you heard the speech that I used to do. Okay, the speech I used to do is if it was the same price, you could buy it the same price, go to the same place, the same room, the same car, the same cabin on a cruise ship, at the same price would you buy from a faceless corporation or your mom. What if they said, Mom, but here's the thing. People forgot. They forgot Mom had a thing. Now listen, we still sold, folks, this is what's crazy. We sold about $3 billion. That's with a B. $3 billion worth of travel. Here, I want you to get this loud and clear. At the same price everybody sold it. At the same price. Not lower, same price. Mom, how much more can we sell cheaper? Because now it's not remember Mom, and that's why you're buying. It's remember you're going to save money. And see, the fact that people save money is the reason they're going to buy it from the Vortex. They're going to buy through it, not because, now, will they remember because it's you? Possibly. Will they remember because they can save money? Absolutely. Just that's what people do. They remember where can I buy it cheaper. So what we've looked at is, and we've come up with just one, it's a real simple formula. Okay, initiative. We talked about these are some ways we're going to do things, and so we got the Vortex. You were one of the people that was in the beta test on. And the good news is we won about 70% of the time, which is incredible. You think about it. When you can win 70% of the time, folks. I mean that that's like championship. I mean that when you win 70% of the time. I mean if you were in baseball and you have a hit 70% of the time, you would have your own wing in the Hall of Fame. You'd be twice as good as anybody's ever been. So 70% of the time is awesome. But we knew it had to be something where we were up there where people just knew automatically, I go there because I'm going to save money. So here's what we've done, Bob. We now have this, okay, Harvey, where when you save a person $5, you make $5.
Wait. I'm sorry, Scott. Okay, I'm going to need you to repeat this, and I want people to listen. I got to interrupt because I know, you kind of not talking necessarily fast, but I know what you're getting ready to say, and I just want to kind of interrupt you for a moment. Okay. And tell people to get their notes and write this down because this is literally going to blow your mind. Go ahead, Scott.
Okay. So here's what we looked at. What's the driving factor between someone choosing one travel site over another? And I think we could all agree, we're all going to agree, 100% unanimous, nobody else has come up with a different answer. It's price. It's why people choose Expedia over Priceline. It's why they choose hotels.com over booking.com. It's all about the price. So what we're looking at is, if that's the case, then the greater discount we give consumers, then the greater the chance is, not the chance, the higher the probability that they're going to book with the Vortex. And that's where you come in. So you're going to expose them. People are going to go check one time. Now, by the way, for those of you who are used to the membership, the way the Vortex is going to be displayed is going to be the very same way that everybody is used to seeing the travel sites right now. Like if you go 3 nights in Las Vegas, you don't see the total price of taxes when you check with big online travel agencies. You don't even see the cost per night or the cost without taxes. What you see is a nightly average. So when you see the nightly average is $200, and then you go to check out and you say, well, how come my bill is $700? Well, because that was $200 a night times 3 nights plus taxes and fees, so it went from $200 to $700. But that's the way. See, now I like how we show it, Bob, but the rest of the world shows it average nightly cost. So when you see the Vortex, when it comes out and you see the Vortex, that's exactly how it's going to be displayed. What is the average cost per night without taxes and fees, which is the same way every other travel site shows it. Now, if price is what drives it, and that's not even that's really a statement. Price does drive it. Price is going to drive the purchase decision. Then what we're going to look at is say we're going to maximize the savings of the person. And here's what you get. Every $1 they save is $1 that you earn. And I want you to think about that. The more we save them, the more you make. Now, we'd have some stuff out there. We talked about, if like 100 people took a trip, or you made $250. Let's just get real here, okay? Let's say you had 100 people, and in the course of the year, this is not a 1-week vacation. This is not some kind of fancy getaway. This isn't leaving the continent. This isn't going to Europe. This is not some expensive vacation. Understand, I was just talking to my future son-in-law, and he said, we just went in, and he said, Scott, it's crazy. We say in the membership, okay, we saved about 50% on a hotel, okay? Now think of this. That same person, if they went out there, okay, on that, it was for one night. And so I did the quick calculation, okay, and here, if they hadn't known about the membership, they just didn't go in to look at the site, it was a place they were already going to go, they would have saved on that one night $45. That would have been the savings of the Vortex customer, which means that the owner of the Vortex would have made $45. Now, if you had 100 people that did that one time a year, folks, you understand that's $4,500? We're not talking about some exotic trips, 4-night weekends with car rentals. That was a single night at a hotel, and they would have earned $45. Now, folks, I hope you understand how big that is. But Von, what you said before, see, this is where it gets exciting. What gets exciting is, see, we're not just playing with network marketing. We're not playing with the 18% of the population who understands or has at least they don't have a disapproving view of network marketing. They don't look at network marketing as one of those deals, or that the products are at least good products or acceptable. See, we're talking here about mainstream. We're talking about the Hilton. We're talking about Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Okay, we're talking about Hertz and Avis. See, what we're talking about are the things that people are used to. And when you look at this at $120 billion with just two companies, and they sell it for the same price and they keep all the money, Ron, I don't. I mean, pretty big vision. Been with some things that were pretty big in my lifetime. But I'm telling you, I don't think even we can comprehend how big this can get. This is unlike, and I believe this. This is the greatest opportunity I've seen in my lifetime. Bigger than A.O. Williams, bigger than XL, bigger than folks, bigger than the Amways, bigger than the Herbalife. Okay, bigger than what our previous travel company YTB was. So much bigger. So the magnitude is so much greater than anything we've ever had. And Von, the part that I believe that we're under, that we just can't quite grasp, is how much more we're going to sell because we're saving people. See, I don't care if it's $5. If it's $5, it's $5. People change from Expedia Priceline, from Booking.com to Hotels.com for $5. Won't they change for $45? See, that's the difference in what we're looking at. It's totally mainstream. You don't have to train anybody. You don't have to teach them. You don't have to break their brand loyalty, because the loyalty is not to a site. The loyalty is to the place that you're going, the hotel they're staying in, the cruise line. And so, Ron, that's what we're doing. So every dollar you save them is a dollar that you make. That's how the Vortex is going to roll out. And here's what I want you to hear. We've had the beta test. Now, the beta test included taxes, fees. It was showing total price, okay, just like you're used to seeing in membership. Early this week, we're supposed to get the version that's going to be based on a nightly stay without taxes. We're going to go through a round of testing. Understand that by the time that we're through, by the time this is ready to launch, okay, and here's the thing I want you to hear. I'm not going to give you a date because I got bit. Every time I've ever given a date, and it had to do with technology, I got bit. Okay, I'm not giving you a date, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I was just down in Florida, spent 5 days with Dad, and here's what he was saying. I'm tired of hearing about the labor pains. Show me the baby. Okay? Well, all I'm going to tell you is the labor pains are getting shorter and shorter. The contractions are getting, the time between contractions is getting shorter all the time. But here's what I want you to hear. Vortex is going to launch when the Vortex is ready, because we have one chance. One chance, and folks, we have approaching 250,000 people who are going to be exposed to the Vortex on day one. And it can't be something we have to explain. It's got to be something that when they see that thing and they go do their first example, they put in, because most people aren't going to be booking, but most of them will say, well, let me just kick the tires and see how it's going to work. And when they go and they see this and they see what they can say, now we're going to have not just a chance, but the probability that they're going to be our customers. So this thing has to be flawless. Now, I've got dates. Definitely there's dates in my head. IT has dates in their head. I mean, everybody we're working with has a date that we believe it's going to be. And as long as nothing comes up that's unexpected, and I understand before they turned it over to us, they did all their checking. Now we're doing more checking. We're going to check we're not just going to check from the people in the U.S. We're going to have people looking from other places in the world looking to say, okay, how does this look other places, so that we got a full-blown beta testing, everything we can look at to make sure that when this launches, it's flawless. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Right now is the time to be loading up your pipeline. Right now is the time to be absolutely, totally laser focused, so that when this launches, you're going to be positioned to build your fortune. Now, people are going to make money with the Vortex. Make no mistake. There's going to be people who are going to go out there, and they're going to have 100 and 200 and 500 and 1,000. Some people are going to have thousands of customers. But the fortune is going to be made by the people who have 10, and then 50, and then 100, and then 1,000, and then thousands of people in an organization who have the Vortex, who are building. Now, I'm not telling you which one you got to focus on, and I'm not saying you can't do both. But if you're on this call tonight because you want to build a business, then now's the time to build a business. It's not the time to think, wonder, question. This is the time for action. And Vaughn, what I'm excited about is that probably a few days before the Vortex goes live, there's a training that Chris Coakley's done that is going to go to everybody in the company, acting like this is day one. You just joined. What do you do first? What next? In other words, there's just a and I forget what he called it, initiation. Okay, that's probably the wrong. That's not the right word, but it's an orientation to exactly what to do to get your business off to a fast start. Here's the great news: you're going to know exactly what that is. You're going to know exactly the things that Chris is asking the people to bring new people to do. So that you, as a leader, as a builder, all you have to do is say, "Man, wasn't that awesome? What Chris went through." Now, tell me about your why. Tell me about your calendar, because I know he talked about your calendar. When are you going to work? Let's get your calendar out. Man, now let's talk about the people that you want to talk to, because I know you got your phone out. You were going through that. You were making lists. See, now you've got somebody else to do all of that, so that what you can do now is focus on the people who are ready to run. Bon, I guess the last thing I want to say, please don't miss this. Just don't miss it. There were 7 people that Bill Gates approached. Talk about putting computers in every home. 3 said yes. 4 didn't see it, or they couldn't do it, or whatever reason. But the 4 didn't. 3 became billionaires. 4, they were probably pretty smart people. They probably went on to do pretty well. Maybe they even became millionaires, but I don't think they became billionaires. See, this is your Microsoft moment. This is the Apple garage with Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. This is when the fortunes are going to be made. It's not going to be made by analytical. It's not going to be made by, let me think about this. Let me kind of see how this works for the first 6 months. See, if you want to build, the time to build is what's going to happen in the next 60 days. You see, the people who get the jump start, who get this thing going, I'm telling you, please understand this. The next 60 to 90 days is critical, but this first year, I believe this. There will be people who work this year, who work the next 12 months, and then take off the rest of their lives. And those people will make more. I mean, if they're focused and they really go out there and they put the foundation in place, those people who work the next 12 months and never work a day again in their life, the organization is put in place the next year. They'll make more money than people who come in 1 year from today and work just as hard, but for the rest of their life. See, this is the time. This is the place. It's time to go to work. Mom, it's bigger than big. And now's the time.
Well, Scott, let me just say this before we bring Rick. I know Rick has been on, I don't know, man, a 14 or 15 day cruise, and he's just been cruising and posting pictures. But Scott, this is the thing that I don't want people to do. Is I don't want you to get discouraged in the process. Okay? You know, if you look at companies, and you know, there's a company now that's actually, you know, they were pretty hot, and I haven't heard the name, you know, recently. But I remember when they launched. As a matter of fact, I can talk about my buddy. I'll pick on another company because Holton Doug and I are still pretty good friends. But one of the things that when they launched and when Holton got involved in that company, people were ordering stuff, and because of the demand, it took people 3 to 4 months just to get their coffee. And that's a product. We're talking about a technology that's going to change the way travel is booked. And so what I want you guys to focus on, don't get discouraged. Say, well, I thought it was going to be this date or that date. Let me tell you, see, it's the people that hang in there. What we're doing before has never been done. Scott, give me a website right now on the internet that the average person can go to without paying anything to become a member and get the type of savings that they're going to get on the Vortex. Name one company that's doing that right now. There isn't. And see, you guys, what I'm telling you and what I know about it, it's the company that does something that hasn't been done before. There's no script to what we're doing. We started off with a great idea with a $250 button. And it worked great. It did its part. And then we said, well, how can we improve upon it? And we said, well, let's just kind of get rid of the button count and something. We'll just give a $5 credit until we launch the Vortex. And you see, everything is falling into place. But what I can't have you focusing on is the stuff that you don't think that worked right when it did its job. It pointed us to something bigger. Scott, can you just address that? Address those points that I just covered?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. If you're going to wait until everything gets perfected, then the people who start now are going to get rich. And you're going to have a really nice little opportunity where you can make $10,000, $100,000 a year maybe. There's going to be bugs. and if look, I don't know how else to say this. If that's something that you can't handle, if that's something that you look at and say, well, I got to wait till everything's just perfect, then we're going to be perfecting it. And one day maybe you'll look at it and go, okay, now it's good enough for me to go talk to people. The problem you're probably going to have then is people already heard about it. If you wait until it's common knowledge, if you wait till it's perfected, then you're also going to say in that process, and I'm going to let others leverage this time, leverage the time when nobody knows about it, and then my customers, people who could have been customers, people who are my neighbors, people I work with, are going to hear about it. Now the other thing I don't want to act like there's going to be all kinds of problems, because folks, this is a technology that's been around for several years. We have just repurposed it. So even though this is new, it's existing technology repurposed, because we looked at it and said, let's take savings and turn that into compensation, not just savings. So the technology you've already been using for 15 months. But how we're going to repurpose it hasn't been done before, folks. So Von, more of the stuff that we're going to see is going to be frustrations. It's going to be the frustrations of that maybe the marketing sites didn't quite come together the right way. But the product and the usability and the people being able to go to it and check and look and book and go, that's tested and proven over a much longer period of time than even Surge has been in business. So the confidence that you have here is people are still going to get the people are going to get exactly what we're promised. They're going to save money. They're going to go to the places they want to go. It's real-time live inventory. None of that stuff changes. Now, customers aren't going to have concierge service. Okay? That's what we get as members. Okay? That's for us, because we're doing the whole enchilada. We got it all. Okay? The customer's going to be able to book. Once they book, they're going to have a phone number just like they have now. If they got questions, something comes up, they're going to have people they can talk to. So it's not like they're on their own. But folks, what they're buying is a well-established. How we're doing it, a little bit of change. Great news is you get compensated. And you're getting compensated just to point people to a site. And you're pointing them, not saying, hey, like me. You're pointing to us saying, do you like savings? So Von, while I don't want to act like everything is perfected, I also don't want people to think that this is an excuse for us to be less than perfect when we launch the public face. So the public facing is going to be airtight. It's going to be solid, rock solid. We're going to have some stuff that we're going to figure out, different ways to tweak. Maybe there's a couple things, Von, that we're finalizing. I think when people hear about it, they're going to lose their minds. Okay, but if all we had is what we got right now, with the ability to leverage our savings to give people some of it, and then however much they get, we earn, dude, it's game over.
It is. Hey, Scott, I want to say thank you very much. And hey, you guys, you don't want to miss it. Hey, real quick, we're going to be in Atlanta. There's a convention, so we want to make sure you guys most definitely go ahead and register for that. Mr. Rick Reed, I just want to bring you on the line for just a few seconds, because we're right at 9:30. If you could say a few words, because I'm pretty sure everybody missed you out in Reno. You and Brenda were on that, 14-day cruise? Hey, all I can say is leverage our savings to earn. The world is traveling. You know, we've been gone now since the 1st of April. We still haven't returned home, so we've been traveling the whole month. One of the things I realized is that we are absolutely in the right business. When you go out there, everywhere we were like 7 countries, 14-day cruise, river cruise of the Rhine, river cruise in Paris. The world is out there. And so we're definitely in the right place at the right time. We use the travel agency to get a free travel, a free trip, a free cruise. We use the membership to schedule things. And of course, we gave out our card to everyone we know for the Worldwide Vortex. So over to you. Well, hey, listen, I want to invite you back next week so you can share that information to our callers, your experience and how you were able to do that. You mentioned that quote-unquote free cruise. I'm pretty sure that you guys didn't pay anything for it, but there were probably a couple of requirements that you had to do. So if it would be okay with you, next week we want to hear about that. And man, I love those pictures, and we want to hear about that trip. And like we always do, Mr. Harvey J., back over to you.
Okay. Thanks, Vaughn. And yes, we're looking forward to that, Rick, next week. So that's going to be great. We want to say thanks to Scott Tomer for sharing information with us tonight. It's been really, really good because now we're all more excited. We're ready to get started. We're not going to wait because we know we're going to be in a higher earning bracket, without a doubt. So we have well over a half year left tonight in 2016. And we have time to give ourselves a substantial raise by going to work, not waiting, and understanding what we have. And as Vaughn mentioned, we're going to Atlanta in August. August 5th and 6th is the international convention. Some of us will be in on the 3rd or the 4th to really make it happen. But we have good news for people who are joining us, and that's quite a few people. Our entry fee, our registration was $150 for a month, and then for a couple of months, but it's up to a couple of $100 now. It will go up to $250. However, if you're just joining us, you have 2 weeks after the date you join to still come in at the $150 rate. So you'll save quite a bit. You'll save $50, $100 by registering within your first 2 weeks in the business. And for you who are bringing people in, let them know that so that they can join and register very early to save themselves money for the registration. It's going to be one great event. Events are great to be there, and we cannot bring back to you what we felt and what we experienced when we go to one of these major events. And this will be super major because it's our first international convention, and many people will be there. You want to register, get your room, get your flight, do everything early. You don't want to be left out. So let's get it done. And I promise to give you the callback number for this call so you can go back and hear the good information that Scott shared with us. And the number to call in is 605 562 3149. It's 3149, the last four. Again, it's 605-562-3149.
And this is Ken and Cynthia Reed. We know that we can give the Vortex away to anyone, anywhere in the world. If you are listening to this call and you are looking at this video, then know that you can always go to betterthandonuts.com. Again, when the Vortex launches, it will be seamless, and they are pushing for the month of May 2016. Today is May the 4th, 2016, and we just encourage every one of you to get back in touch with the person who told you about the Vortex, because fair is fair. We are excited about it. Been involved with a previous company of YTB for 10 years before switching over to the Vortex through Surge 365, and we are thrilled about what's about to happen. For live events in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, you can go to betterthandonuts.com and click live events. Those things are on a fairly regular basis, but we also have an app that goes around the world showing a very brief 2-minute video that gets you everything that you want to know. And the app is always being updated, and it is private and only for Vortex owners who are now called Surge 365 members, but we are Vortex owners giving away the Vortex. We welcome you to pose any question that you choose by way of going to contact@betterthandonuts.com. That's our email address, CONT as in Tango, ACT at betterthandonuts.com. Have an amazing